The Crystal Beast archetype, known in the Japanese as the Gem Beasts, are an archetype that is made up of 7 core main deck monsters that are each based on a different kind of beast, either real or mythological. Not only that though, but they are also emblazoned with a gem that is unique only to them, thus their names of the Gem Beasts. This archetype was created by Maximilian Pegasus in the Yugioh GX anime. They were inspired by the story of how 7 gemstones collected from around the world were lost on their voyage to be a part of a painting celebrating Julius Caesar's reign. In homage to these events, Pegasus created the Crystal Beasts, which had the unique ability that if they were to be destroyed, they would instead transform into a crystal in the user's back row, a technique that would keep them from being lost like the originals. Following their creation, the cards were given to a duelist called Jesse Anderson after he had won a European tournament. However, Pegasus told Jesse that the deck was not complete, as the boss monster of the archetype had not yet been found. But you see, each gem, as you might have noticed, has its own distinct colour, and what's special about this is when all 7 gems are together, you get the 7 colours of the rainbow, which are of course red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And of course, what do you find at the end of a rainbow? You all must know this. That's right, a giant rainbow-spewing dragon adorned with 7 different kinds of gems. In this case, the Rainbow Dragon.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but here it is. I summon the all-powerful Rainbow Dragon.
Ironically, real life decided to imitate the anime, as this archetype made its first real-world debut in the 2007 booster pack, Force of the Breaker, with all 7 of the Crystal Beasts being released together. They would not receive their boss monster, Rainbow Dragon, until 3 months later in Tactical Evolution. From this point on, more support would slowly be added over the years, in packs Jesse Anderson, Phantom Darkness, Collectible Tins 2007, Legendary Duelists, Ancient Millennium, and the most recent support in Flames of Destruction. The idea behind a Crystal Beast deck is that when any of the Crystal Beasts are destroyed, they transform into the gem they represent as a continuous spell card, acting there as fuel for the spells and traps of the archetype. The end goal being to get all 7 crystals on the field or in the graveyard. This allows you to summon the boss monster of the deck, Rainbow Dragon, which has the ability to send all Crystal Beast monsters on the field to the grave to boost its already 4,000 attack points by 1,000 for each one sent. And as a last resort, it can also banish all the Crystal Beasts from the grave to return every card on the field back into the deck. Unfortunately though, as time would pass, Rainbow Dragon would become less and less reliable, since it required a lot of work to pull off, and if any Crystal Beast is banished and can't be returned, then Rainbow Dragon would be unsummonable. As well, the Crystal Beasts themselves, well, they're not the best things ever, and they had a tendency to clog up the back row too, meaning playing any traps could hinder your strategy. And so, another card in the archetype would see a lot of play instead, serving as a much easier win condition. It was called Crystal Abundance, which could wipe your opponent's field and summon a bunch of Crystal Beast monsters for an easy OTK. Fast forward to modern day, and the Crystal Beasts have received several upgrades to make them much more consistent, with additions such as 2 new Pendulum monsters, a variety of powerful spells and traps, and 2 brand new boss monsters, Rainbow Dragon, the Zenith Crystal Beast, and the Rainbow Overdragon. So, now we know a little bit more, how about we take a look at each of the Crystal Beasts, see what they are inspired by, and let's start with... Firstly, we have 2 Pendulum monsters. Crystal Keeper, whose pendulum effect is, each turn, the first time an ultimate crystal or Crystal Beast card you control will be destroyed by a card effect that turn, it is not destroyed. Its monster effect, however, is if a Crystal Beast monster you control battles an opponent's monster. Quick effect, you contribute this card from your hand or face up from your field. Your battling monster's attack and defense become double its original attack and defense during the damage calculation only, but it is destroyed at the end of the damage step. The other pendulum is Crystal Master. His pendulum effect is your opponent cannot target ultimate crystal or Crystal Beast cards you control in your monster monster zone with card effects. While its monster effect is you contribute this card, add 1 ultimate crystal or crystal beast, or crystal spell trap from your deck to your hand. Immediately, you might notice that both of these monsters' appearances are based on their anime wielder, Jesse Anderson, from different points in the anime. Keeper is reflective of Jesse during his time at Duel Academy, while Master is instead a manifestation of when he was possessed by the antagonist of that arc, Yugioh. Now, some of you might be asking, why are these cards pendulums? Seems rather random. Well, the reason for this is because pendulums embody the characteristics of the crystal beasts themselves. Pendulum monsters, when destroyed, don't go to the graveyard, just like the crystal beasts. And also, pendulums too can become spell cards. So in a way, Jesse, the wielder of the crystal beasts, who is being represented by these cards, has actually taken on the properties of the very monsters that he wields. In fact, speaking of, Crystal Beast, Ruby Carbuncle. Every Crystal Beast possesses an archetypal effect and a unique effect. Their archetypal effect is, if they are destroyed while face up in a monster zone, you can place them face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. I won't repeat it for brevity, but just assume it for the rest. Carbuncle's unique effect is, when it is special summoned, you can special summon as many Crystal Beast monsters as possible from your spell and trap zones. Representing the red spectrum of light in a rainbow, Carbuncle is based on a carbuncle cat, a creature from South American folklore, that is said to have a glowing red gem embedded in its forehead. Cleverly as well, a carbuncle is also the name for any red gemstone. In this case, it's a ruby, one of the most valuable gems in existence. Which is actually quite fitting, as Jesse favoured Ruby Carbuncle the most out of all of his monsters. Interesting. Now, for a bit of fun, since so many people seem to attach spiritual meanings to gemstones, I thought let's mention them for today's video. And in a way, we can see if the meaning behind the gem is representative of the monster it embodies. For example, Ruby Carbuncle has a ruby, and a ruby represents love and passion. Do you think that matches the monster? Let me know. Oh, and it's probably also worth mentioning that this monster adorably appears in the artworks of Crystal Conclave and Crystal Bond, being pet by none other than its wielder from the anime. This is most likely being shown as Carbuncle was Jesse's spirit monster, in a similar vein to how Wing Karibo was Jaden's spirit monster. Crystal Beast Amethyst Cat. Its unique effect is this card can attack your opponent directly, but when it does, any battle damage is halved. Representing the violet spectrum of light in a rainbow, Cat is adorned with a quartz gemstone, which, when presented in the violet colour, is given the name of an amethyst. In fact, this is probably one of the most commonly seen gems, as I bet you've probably seen one of these somewhere before. In fact, fun fact, the word amethyst itself comes from an ancient Greek word for intoxicate. The reason for this is it is a reference to how these gemstones were said to protect their owner from becoming drunk. And for Amethyst Cat's gem meaning, it symbolises calming and soothing benefits. Crystal Beast Emerald Tortoise. Its unique effect is, once per turn, you can target one monster you control that attacked this turn, change it to the defense position. Representing the green spectrum of light in a rainbow, Tortoise is adorned with a variety of the beryl mineral. This type is given the name of emerald due to it containing trace amounts of chromium, which is what gives it its green colour, and thus its name of emerald. For Emerald Tortoise's gem's meaning, it represents fertility and new beginnings. Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. Its unique effect is, when this card is summoned, you can place one Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap zone. Representing the indigo spectrum of light in a rainbow, this monster at first glance appears to be based on a mythological creature known as a Pegasus. However, it's technically not, as a Pegasus is a horse with wings, while a unicorn is a horse with a horn on its head. And since this monster has both of them, then technically it is known as something called an alicorn, which is a horse with both wings and a horn. Fun fact. Pegasus's gem is a corundum crystal. As it is blue, it is called a sapphire. However, had that very same gem been red, instead we would be calling it a ruby. The only difference between the two is rubies contain chromium, while sapphires contain iron and titanium, which is what gives them their different colours. And if you think about it, Pegasus and Carbuncle, both being made of corundum crystals, one of the most valuable gems in existence, seems only fitting, as these two monsters are technically the most useful cards in the deck. It's only fitting that they are both made from the most valuable gems. Oh, and also, for Sapphire Pegasus, its gem represents hope and faith. Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle. Its unique effect is, once per turn, you can target one Crystal Beast card you control, place that target on the top of the deck. Representing the blue spectrum of light in a rainbow, this monster's gem, Cobalt, is found in the Earth's crust. The gem represents imagination and improves your mood. Crystal Beast Topaz Tiger. Its unique effect is, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 400 attack during the damage step only. Representing the yellow spectrum of light in a rainbow, Topaz is one of the hardest naturally occurring minerals. Let's say a diamond is a 10 in terms of hardness, Topaz would be an 8, with corundum, aka rubies and sapphires, sitting just in between at a 9. I think that's pretty fitting, as this monster has the highest potential attack out of all of the crystal beasts, so yeah. And in fact, the gem Topaz represents clarity and focus. Crystal Beast Amber Mammoth. Its unique effect is, when another Crystal Beast monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can change the target to this card. Representing the orange spectrum of light in a rainbow, this monster's gem is a funny one, as amber is one of the few gems that, technically, is not a mineral. You see, amber is actually tree resin that has fossilized over millions of years. In a sense, it is classified as an organic gem. The most famous amber gem to many is the one seen in Jurassic Park. And, like the one in the film, it is true that amber sometimes collects insects or other materials inside, which then become preserved. And really, depending on what it is, sometimes this can significantly boost the value of the gem by quite a lot. For Amber Mammoth's gem's meaning, it represents balance of the emotions. And something that I forgot to mention, but definitely worth talking about, is the fact that all of the crystal beasts in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime have very distinct voices and accents.
Holy Toledo! Talk about a full house!
We're in the big leagues now.
Why don't you tell our friend here about my special talent?
I haven't had fresh meat in a cat's age.
Alrighty, gents, follow me!
But if I had to pick a favourite, it would be Amber Mammoth, as his is probably the most iconic. He basically has the voice of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's amazing.
I would love to pummel that little toothpick of a man.
Rainbow Dragon, the Zenith Crystal Beast, known in the Japanese as Ultimate Gem Beast, Rainbow Dragon. Its effect is, if this face-up card is destroyed in a monster zone, you can place it face-up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, instead of sending it to the graveyard. You can only use each of its effects once per turn. When an attack is declared involving a Crystal Beast monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can banish this continuous spell, special summon one level 4 or lower Crystal Beast monster from your deck, mitigates its effects, and if you do, add one Ultimate Crystal monster from your deck to your hand. Though weaker in the sense of attack and level to Rainbow Dragon, Zenith being a Crystal Beast monster instead of an Ultimate Crystal monster means it works better with the support cards of the deck, and as well can even go to the spell and trap zone upon its destruction, much like the Crystal Beast monsters too, supporting the support cards as well. Rainbow Dragon, known in the Japanese as Ultimate Gem God, Rainbow Dragon. Its effect is, it is always treated as an Ultimate Crystal card. It cannot be normal summoned or set, and it must be special summoned from your hand by having 7 Crystal Beast cards with different names on your field and or in your graveyard. This card can activate the following effects the turn it is special summoned. Quick effect, you can send all Crystal Beast monsters you control to the graveyard. This card gains 1000 attack for each sent. You can banish all Crystal Beast monsters from your graveyard, shuffle all cards on the field into the deck. The first ever Ghost Rare card to be released in both the OCG and the TCG. Fun fact, Konami accidentally printed some of the Ghost Rares of this card with a picture of Elemental Hero Chaos Neos instead, while Chaos Neos had Rainbow Dragon's name instead. Just to let you all know, there were a lot of money. If you happen to have one, hold on to that bad boy. It's going to be worth even more probably one day. If we look at this monster's artwork, you can actually see each of the gems of each of the crystal beasts adorned at the side of this monster. And Rainbow Dragon itself would receive a few alternate forms. One was the Malefic Rainbow Dragon. This card came into existence because Rainbow Dragon was stolen by Paradox in the Bonds Beyond Time movie and corrupted it into a new form, its Sin form. However, this isn't the only time Rainbow Dragon would be corrupted, as in the anime, after Jesse was possessed by Yugioh, he would use a darker form of his ace, called Rainbow Dark Dragon, known in the Japanese as Ultimate Gem God, Rainbow Dark Dragon. This card too is always treated as an Ultimate Crystal card. However, it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 7 dark monsters with different names from your graveyard. You can banish all other dark monsters from your field and graveyard. This card gains 500 attack for each card banished this way. In keeping with this monster, all of the Crystal Beasts too would receive an evil anime exclusive form. These forms were known as the Advanced Crystal Beasts. You can actually see all of them in the artwork of the field spell Advanced Dark. In fact, here's a question I pose to all of you. Do you think we need the Advanced Crystal Beasts in the game? And would they just be alternate artwork versions of the original Crystal Beasts? Like how there's the darker versions of the Elemental Heroes? Or should the Advanced Crystal Beasts basically be the retrains of them? More modern day versions of the Crystal Beasts? Let me know in the comment section below. Rainbow Over Dragon, known in the Japanese as Ultimate Gem God, Rainbow Over Dragon, requires 7 Crystal Beast monsters. This card is always treated as an Ultimate Crystal card. Must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing 1 level 10 Ultimate Crystal monster, in which case you do not use polymerization. Once per turn, you can banish 1 Crystal Beast monster from your graveyard. This card gains attack equal to the banished monsters until the end of this turn. Quick effect, you contribute this fusion summoned card, shuffle all cards on the field into the deck. Serving as the ultimate form of Rainbow Dragon, being 2 levels higher and much more flexible in terms of its summoning requirements. But there is actually one more fusion monster that is sort of a part of this archetype, albeit a bit more so the Elemental Hero series, and that is Rainbow Neos. This card is summoned through fusing Rainbow Dragon and Neos. However, this requirement would receive a change. For you see, Rainbow Dragon would only later receive a clarification text to have it always treated as an Ultimate Crystal monster because, well, you see the TCG changed its name without thinking of its alternate forms or future support. And as such, so they don't have to mention if a Rainbow Dragon, Rainbow Dark Dragon, blah 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 all the time, they just simply gave it the ability to be always treated as a Ultimate Crystal. And as such, this monster too would receive the same change, requiring instead any Ultimate Crystal monster for its summon instead of just Rainbow Dragon. And also, this monster, much like how Neos Wise Man symbolized Jaden Yuki's bond with Yubel, this card symbolized his friendship with Jesse Anderson. Therefore, this card was called the Protector of Bonds. And lastly, let's tear through all of the spells and traps of this archetype, starting with the 2 field spells, Ancient City Rainbow Ruins and Advanced Dark. We also have Crystal Promise, Crystal Bond, Crystal Blessing, Crystal Abundance, Crystal Beacon, Crystal Tree, Crystal Release, Rainbow Bridge, Rare Value, Rainbow Refraction, and the traps Rainbow Path, Counter Gem, Ultimate Crystal Magic, Crystal Pair, Rainbow Gravity, Crystal Regeki, Crystal Conclave, Rainbow Life, Gem Flash Energy, and Last Resort. And with that, guys, that is another Archetype episode done. Which is your favorite Crystal Beast? And before we go, I want to give a huge shout out to the people that help make these videos possible, my sponsors. The big one first, my platinum backer, Nemochan77. Thank you for giving that extra bit. It really means a lot. As well to my YouTube and gold backers, Michael Waclawski, Silver Defender, Stefan Pole, Danny Bound, Goosey Q, Ignis Drasil, Joseph Y, Nilo Rodriguez, Omar Lopez, Yugioh Everything, Queen Elizabeth Denise Leggin, Jeremy Pontier, Kobe Sylvaniyagam, as well to all my silverbackers. Thank you all for supporting this channel and just for being legends. See you all next time, guys. Catch you later.